My name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm a natural fertility specialist. My team and I help couples who are preparing for conception, overcoming fertility issues, or preparing for medical fertility treatments so everybody can have a healthier, happier pregnancy. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Today's fertility scope is going to be about the benefits of yoga for fertility. So many of you, I'm sure, have heard about yoga for fertility. I'm sure you've heard about doing yoga, maybe you've seen classes about it, but there are actually specific benefits to using yoga as part of your fertility program. And there's 5 of them that I'm going to go over, and then I'm going to share with you what kinds of yoga I think are most beneficial. So great, I'm glad you find it helpful. Okay, so the first is yoga is fantastic for reducing stress. So one of the main things when you're preparing for conception is, one, it can be very stressful, but it's also important to have a way to overcome that stress. Hey, Tamila, and having some tools in your toolbox to help to overcome that stress that is inevitable. Everybody is going to experience stress in life. There's nothing that can make it go away. But when you have tools to help overcome it and tools to make yourself more resilient to it, it doesn't affect you as much. And yoga can help with that. Another reason it's important for reducing stress for fertility is it can affect hormonal balance, because the stress response and the stress cascade can cause hormonal imbalances, because it's releasing all these hormones for stress, and then the liver is focused on getting rid of those, and then the excess sexual hormones might go into excess, etc. And it's just a cycle if you're stressed out day in, day out. So yoga is fantastic for reducing stress, especially, both of them, both restorative and the harder, more like warrior-like poses or workout poses. Both of them can help with stress. The next, which I think is really incredible, the next benefit I think is pretty incredible, because it's like a physical movement or a physical workout can actually have an effect on your endocrine system. And yoga is one of those things that can have a direct effect on the health of the endocrine system, and it helps to support that. And the way it does this is because of the movement and the flow that's happening when you're doing yoga. It's the breathing and it's the state that you end up going into during yoga. So that's going to help strengthen the endocrine system. The endocrine system is responsible for hormonal balance in the hormonal symphony that occurs during a cycle. So it's responsible for maturing follicles, making the egg pop, making the uterine lining grow, sustaining the uterine lining. All of this is done by hormones, which is orchestrated by the endocrine system. So we want to support that any way we can. The third way that yoga benefits fertility is it's going to help increase circulation to the reproductive system. And this is one of the things that I think is least thought about when people are preparing for conception or preparing for pregnancy, is their circulation. And this is important because a lot of us sit all day. I mean, it's like a majority of people sit at work, sit while we're driving, don't exercise, don't have lots of movement, might not be drinking enough water. So thinking of ways to increase your circulation is going to be beneficial, because that circulation and that blood is what is taking the nutrients to your uterus, your ovaries, your liver, every system in your body really, but it's going to help the specific antioxidants and different things that you're doing actually get to where it needs to go. It's also going to help with the body with cleansing and detoxifying, because the blood is taking in and taking out as well. So it increases blood flow to reproductive organs. It also helps to encourage a more positive mindset. This is, I think, one of the benefits of yoga that everybody knows, regardless of why someone's doing yoga. I think it's one of the main reasons people do yoga. It's funny because for the longest time, I did not do yoga. I am not the type of person who really likes the 90-minute long yoga class that's really, really tough. I know a lot of people love it, but I have to confess, I, for the longest time, was not a yoga girl until I found restorative poses and I found restorative yoga. When I would go to these classes, I would get really dizzy because I have low blood pressure, and doing up and down and doing this pose and that pose and holding it for so long, I was like, this is torture. There's nothing great about this. It was a really hard experience for me. But then I found restorative yoga. I started going to like the beginners classes and the basic classes where half the poses were done on the ground. And I actually found that worked really well for me. So once I actually started practicing that type of yoga, it completely affected my mindset, because it was just a time of breathing, a time of calmness, time to slow down, and it also just felt really good to do it. So I encourage you to find a yoga that you like. Some people like hot yoga, some people like the more strengthening yoga, but whatever it is that you're into, find what works for you and keep on looking, because for the longest time I was like, I don't like yoga. until I found one that worked for me. And so that helps to encourage a positive mindset because you're taking some time to be still and focused and present and breathing. I mean, those are all things that are part of a yoga practice. So that's good morning. So that's positive mindset. And then the last is it may help to increase libido, and that's going to happen naturally through increasing circulation. But that's always, I think, always a positive thing. So by the increased circulation, naturally libido is going to increase. So those are 5 of the main reasons that you would want to use yoga for fertility. Now, for our purposes, we've looked at every single fertility yoga program that's available. We've looked at every DVD. I've written an ebook on fertility yoga that's specific for preconception care. But I have to say, we finally found one that we are ecstatic about. And it's going to be this one, Restoring Fertility. And you can find this at naturalfertilityshop.com. But the reason this is so good is because it's a biphasic program. And I love programs that are biphasic because they're helping to support the different sections of your cycle, or the different phases of your cycle. So there's 4 phases of your cycle, but we mainly focus on 2. It's from your period to ovulation, and ovulation until pregnancy or period again. So it's your follicular phase and your luteal phase. And this program focuses on that. This focuses on the 4 different parts. So the first disc is going to be a menstrual phase. So you do that during your period. The second part is going to be follicular phase. So this is right before ovulation. And then the next DVD has 2 programs. The ovulatory phase, so you do this while you're ovulating, and then the luteal phase, and this helps support implantation and post ovulation. So I just think that's fantastic. We actually had our entire staff do this program and get everybody's feedback on it before we decided to bring it into the shop, and everybody loved it. It's amazing, some of the results. Like, no one on our staff right now is trying to conceive, but the results that they were getting, especially during specific phases, like how they felt. So this is like what disc 1 looks like. There's 2 programs on that one. It was just incredible. You could feel the circulation increasing. You could feel the benefits while you were doing it. And this is what disc 2 looks like. I think they look the same. Oh, they look a little bit different. So you get 2 discs in it, but it's like a complete yoga program. It's pretty darn cool. Where I live, there's definitely yoga studios, but there's no one doing fertility yoga. I think you could probably find a class in New York, Los Angeles, any of the major cities, but I don't think the majority of people are going to be able to find a yoga therapist who specializes in fertility. If you can, that'd be fantastic. I think this is your next best option, is this Restoring Fertility program. I think it's fantastic. So you can just do it in the privacy of your home. And this was created by a holistic fertility center. I believe where are they located? I think they're in New York. I'm not quite sure. But this is created by people who are working with couples who are actively trying to conceive. I know that there's on the introduction, there's someone that comes on and teaches to you. And he is a acupuncturist and works at the center, and the explanation of the cycle and how yoga works is awesome. He goes into all of the benefits of it and also the reasons you do certain things. I also have to say that when you're doing this DVD, there are some funny things that they do ask you to do, such as there'll be certain parts where you are kind of like poking and rubbing on certain acupressure points. Even though it may seem weird, go with it, because it's kind of like you're doing your own acupressure session. But sometimes you're like, okay, I need to rub the insides of my toes. What's that about? You're doing your own acupressure. And similar kind of to reflexology. So it's very beneficial. Someone asked what the cost was. It's $39.95 for the whole program on the shop. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you because we seriously have done so much research. We've carried a lot of different DVDs over the years. And we actually stopped carrying all of them except for this one because none of them compare. So I just wanted to make sure you know about that. So that's about it. I just wanted to let you know about doing the yoga. The classes are between like 30 and 40 minutes, just so you know. So it is an actual program. It's not just like 5 minutes of doing yoga. It is an actual program, and you feel like it's an actual program when you're doing it. This isn't just ordinary everyday yoga. So very beneficial. I think it's a great part of every fertility program, every preconception care program. I hope you found today's scoop helpful and that you maybe got a little bit motivated to start doing some fertility yoga. Thank you so much for sharing. It's fantastic. Okay, guys. All right. Thank you. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you again soon.